Again, my name is Brad Bialy. I am our Director of Digital Marketing. If you signed up for the webinar early and you are expecting David Stearns, our CEO, he's out this week, so I'm filling in for him as we talk about 7 strategies to drive sales in a down economy. Before we get started, y'all deserve a shout out. We're here today to talk about ways to level up your sales in 2023. And friends, just by being here today, you're showing that you're ready to level up. You're already, in fact, leveling up. When you think about your competitors, you think about other individuals throughout the staffing and recruiting industry, friends, you're already one step ahead of them just by saying, listen, I know that I can be better. I know that even if I'm closing at an insane rate, I can do a little bit better. And maybe just one thing that Brad shares today can take my sales efforts to that next level. So I am happy that you're here. Friends, we are going to be talking about ways to level up your sales efforts. Let's be honest, 2023 is off to a challenging start. We're at 3.5% unemployment. That's recent metrics by the BLS from March. And on the other end of that, 236,000 jobs were added in March. Friends, I don't know if you're like the clients that I talked to or the individuals that I talked to in Boston just last week, but it is incredibly difficult to find great talent for those open jobs right now. And I think it's even harder to get those open job orders. As I'm going out and talking with more and more individuals or having great conversations here at Haley Marketing, I continue to hear from throughout the staffing and recruiting industry that finding those clients and finding those job orders is a challenge. And if that's you, I want to say, 1, you're not alone. And 2, hopefully something that you hear on today's talk, on today's presentation, will spark some sort of creativity for you to help you close a little bit more business. Friends, you got to keep smiling. No matter how tough things are getting, you got to keep smiling. I love to start most of my talks with a quote to sort of set the framework, set really the idea for what we're going to be talking about today. This isn't anything from Simon Sinek. This isn't, Gandhi. No, this is Ash Ketchum and his best friend Pikachu. Friends, we got to keep smiling. I know some days in staffing and recruiting are harder than others. I know there's times where you feel like you're just never going to get that next job order, or that nothing that you do is landing you the right candidate. But we got to keep smiling. We're in a great business of putting great people to work in great opportunities. And that in itself should fire us up. Friends, we can't approach 2023 and expect the same as 2022 and expect similar or better results. We frankly cannot. We're playing a different game. It's a different mentality in 2023. Just in talking with clients and talking with individuals throughout the industry, there's been a shift. We've shifted from I desperately need candidates to I desperately need clients. I desperately need those orders. But even if there wasn't that shift, we cannot play by the same standards and expect similar results. We need to level up. We need to take the efforts that we were deploying in 2022, understand what worked well, continue to capitalize on them, but also have the courage to say, listen, that didn't work or that's not working. So we need to stop doing that. How many of you on today's call or on today's presentation are thinking, you know what? We've done the same cold calling outreach for 15 years just because that's how I was trained to do it 15 years ago. And you know what, Brad? It doesn't work. Or how many of you are sending the same templated emails on LinkedIn, the same cold call, the same outreach that you've been doing since you started with the organization that you're with? Is it still working at the rate it did? I bet it used to work at a super high volume and a super high conversion rate. But if it's not working anymore, we need to have the courage to say, listen, it's time we take a step back to take a step forward. So friends, I'm here today to say, take it one strategy at a time. Leveling up takes time, but only takes one step to get started. If you've seen me talk before, I issue this disclaimer at the beginning of every single talk I give. I am in no way here to overwhelm. I'm in no way here to say you need to do all of these things when you end this webinar today. My hope for you is you leave with one idea, one strategy. And if you, over the next hour, can take one, if not 2 strategies, well, then I will effectively have done my job and this will have been worth your hour. So again, take it one strategy at a time because leveling up takes time, but it only takes that one step to get started. So number 1, what are we going to do to level up our positioning. Friends, what makes you unique? When you think about your positioning, what makes you unique from your competition? I can't begin to tell you how many conversations I've had over the years with staffing and recruiting firm owners who say, oh, well, you've worked with blank company, or oh, you know them. I want to be like them. I want to be represented like them. I see what they're doing. I want to be similar. That's the farthest thing that you want to be. You are in business because fundamentally you issue a unique offering that is different from your competitors. What makes you unique, and why should organizations want to trust you with their hiring? Where would I find you in the grocery store? When we think about positioning, this is, in my opinion, the best way to go about it. So, hey, let's all go on a quick adventure. I want you to close your eyes for a second. And not if you're driving. If you're listening and driving to this webinar, please do not do that. But if you're at your desk or you're listening, wherever you might be sitting down comfortably and safe, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to go on an adventure with me. You're going to leave your driveway and I want you to go to the grocery store. So I'm going to pull out of my driveway. I'm going to make a left. I'm going to make a right. I'm going to drive. My grocery store is very close, probably 30 seconds to a minute. And I'm going to make a left and I'm going to pull into that grocery store. We're going to park our car. Okay, great. We've parked now at Tops Friendly Markets. And friends, I want you to now get out of your car and find me a box of Oreos. Okay, so I'm getting out of my car. I'm walking through the front door. I'm going to walk immediately through all of the self-checkouts. And if I make a left, I'm going to go down 3 aisles. On my right-hand side is going to be, 3 aisles, 3 end caps. I'm going to make a right down the cookie aisle. I'm going to go down probably about halfway, and right there is going to be a giant display of Oreos. Friends, that's positioning. When we think about your organization, do clients know where to find you? Do they know what value you bring them? If you and your competitors, and even indirect competitors, even staffing and recruiting firms that are in no way, shape, or form what you do, are all in a grocery store, would your ideal prospect know where to find you? Or they have no idea what you do? Would it be very difficult to find you in that grocery store? I want you to close your eyes again, and you're standing at the Oreo cookie display. Now I want you to think about this. Where else might you find the Oreo brand in the grocery store? Okay, so I'm going to continue down that cookie aisle. I'm going to make a hard left, and I'm going to go all the way to the ice cream section, where I know there's going to be those Oreo wafers. It's like 2 Oreos, and in the middle is that vanilla ice cream. You get that sandwich, my absolute favorite. That's another place that we can find Oreos. So now in relation to staffing and recruiting, maybe you're in 2 verticals, right? You're in healthcare and you're also in light industrial staffing. Okay, 2 extremes, but 2 very concrete positions, right? Still, do your clients know where to find you, or do they not know how to find you? Friends, if you have in any way, shape, or form are having a thought right now of, well, gosh, I don't know if my clients know what we do. I don't know if they know why we do it. Well, then we need to start thinking about our messaging as well. I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan. If you've had the opportunity to see me speak before, I talk about his golden circle in just about every single talk I deliver, where he says people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Fundamentally, we do business with other businesses because of why they do it. But oftentimes, here's how we present things. At Brad Staffing Firm, we provide temporary employees to companies who need an increased workforce for various projects. Great, that's what we do. Why should I care? If we spin that, at Brad Staffing Firm, we believe every business has the potential to be exceptional. We exist to help them realize that potential by providing the talent they need to thrive. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, friends. So I would encourage you to start thinking about that messaging in every single thing that you do. Are you selling what you do? I have very, very big news for you. There are 25,000 other staffing firms around this great country who are also selling what it is that they do. And when you're fighting for market share, and when you're fighting for clients in your local market, selling what you do, frankly, doesn't work, because there are others who are doing exactly what you do. But You do it different. Your positioning is unique. Your messaging is unique. Your value proposition is unique. Fundamentally, your core values and why you're in business fundamentally is unique. And that's why people choose to do business with Brad's staffing firm instead of Bryce's staffing firm. So we need to think about that. We need to think through that clearly. So again, we want to think about leveling up our positioning. Where would I find you in the grocery store? And then I want to think about leveling up your messaging. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So think hard about leveling up that messaging when it comes to selling your services or just communicating about your services. Friends, we're going to talk about leveling up your website. And I want to talk about the Amazon effect. Amazon, in a lot of ways, has improved our lives. And in a lot of ways, it's made it incredibly difficult to be a digital marketer. Been incredibly difficult to be in business. The Amazon effect. We, regardless of where we're buying a product from, expect it to be delivered to our doorstep in under 24 hours. I don't care if you order from a mom and pop shop down the road, if you order from Nike, if you order from Kids R Us, whatever it might be. I expect it here tomorrow because Amazon has trained me to understand that when I order something, it comes tomorrow. They've reduced that friction. They've made the customer experience so good that now other organizations, regardless of whether you're in B2C or what you're doing, are held to the same standard. So friends, we need to level up our website. And I understand you're not selling consumer goods, but we need to level up our website so that it's comparable to Amazon because of the Amazon effect. So I want you to think about your website. How hard is it for a candidate to apply? How hard is it, because this is a sales conversation, for a prospect to apply? Friends, I got a scary truth. I was reviewing a client's website just last week, and I had an interesting conversation when they had said, well, I don't think what you're doing is working. I said, well, why not? I said, well, leads have completely dropped off. We don't get leads anymore. So, okay, let's look into that. So I looked into the back end of their contact form and I looked into some of that data. I said, well, what about all these? And I was sharing my screen and I showed very clearly leads that were coming in, names, emails, notes, things that people wanted, services being requested, fundamentally leads. I said, Brad, we never got those. Okay, well, they're here. So where were they going? So we looked at the back end of the form. They were routing to somebody that was no longer with that organization. Months of leads in an economy where staffing and recruiting firms are reporting that it's harder to find clients, it's harder to find job orders, were going unanswered because they weren't funneling to the right inbox. Friends, that's not even leveling up your websites. That is making sure that the website you have in place is doing what it should and is operating as a sales rep for you, is capturing all of that information. We need to make sure it's easy for prospects to reach out to us. Are we asking for too much information? Are we pre-qualifying individuals before we even have them give us their information? Are we making the request an employee or contact us form so long that on a smartphone or on a smart device, somebody is saying, you know what? I don't have time for this. Even if their services are great, I just don't have time for this. Amazon, again, the Amazon effect, not only do we expect things to show up quick, we also expect it to be easy. I can buy any product on Amazon by searching for it, scrolling to add to cart, and swiping to buy. So in 2 clicks, I now have whatever product is on Amazon.com showing up at my house in 24 hours. What are we doing with our prospects? How soon are we following up? How about on the candidate side of things? And again, I know this is about sales, but how long does it take you and your team to follow up with candidates with great talent that say, hey, I'd love to work with you? Are they going into a black hole, or are we taking action and are we taking lessons from Amazon and bringing that over to staffing and recruiting? Your website should be more than an outdated brochure telling people what you do. Friends, at the end of the day, I, Brad Bialy, the business owner in Buffalo, New York, who needs light industrial temps, I don't care what you do. I care about my facility running efficiently. I care about production operating efficiently. I care about machines running when people are on vacation or when people are out. I care about my operation functioning at 100%. That's what's in it for me. So if I find your website, how are you going to help me? Again, the golden circle from Simon Sinek. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Our websites cannot be an outdated brochure telling people what we do. That does not cut it in 2023. So instead, we need to flip that. We need to flip why it matters and the value we bring to the prospects that are looking at our website. Thinking about positioning, thinking about messaging. Do we have very clear positioning and messaging on our website so that if we're in healthcare staffing, very clearly, somebody who might be in light industrial looking for temps know, hey, these guys aren't for me, and that's okay. We need to make sure that we are doing that, and it's clear, and it's concise, and it's efficient. How can you reduce friction? Amazon effect, right? 2 clicks and a swipe, and I'm buying anything that I want, and it's here in 24 hours. What is your process like? How hard is it for somebody to request information? How hard is it for somebody to reach out to you? Most important, how can you avoid losing them? Friends, if somebody finds your website, whether it's through social media, maybe it's cold outreach that works. If they find your website, buying staffing services, in my opinion, is not a one click and buy solution. You're going to think about it. You're probably going to window shop. You're going to browse the internet. You're going to look at competitors. You're going to look around. Hiring decisions and staffing services and in the business that we're in isn't buying a candy bar at the end of a checkout line, right? We're going to think about this. So if people are leaving your website, what are you doing to make sure that we're bringing them back? What are we doing to make sure that we're captivating them enough to say, no, they have to come back to us, right? We're going to talk about PPC in a little bit. We're going to talk about other things, but how can you avoid losing them? What are you doing with calls to action, with fly-ins, with conversion rate optimization? We're going to talk about that in a second to make sure that if somebody hits a certain page, they know the exact action to take. Let's talk about leveling up your sales tools. If you don't have the right tools in place, well, then ultimately we're overworking, 1, and 2, we're probably not working as effectively and efficiently as we can. So the first, asynchronous selling. What are you doing, whether it's video, a webinar, a podcast, audio content? What are you doing to make sure that your sales tools allow you to sell one-to-many? What assets are you creating that can be replicated and redistributed so that you have assets and sales materials that allow you to sell at scale? I want you to think about that. And there's plenty of partners throughout the industry who are available to help with that, Bialy Marketing being one. But what are you doing to essentially scale yourself so that your sales efforts can now work one-to-many? Are you using landing pages on your website? If somebody hits a very targeted page, do you have a way to capture their information? Do you have a way to capture their name, their email, their phone number, maybe what they're interested in? Are you using that to your advantage? Or when they fill out that information, does that go to Brad down the office and he doesn't do anything with it? What are you doing once that information comes in? Are you using marketing automation? We have a great webinar coming up in May that I'm going to get to in a little bit, where Jeff Statz, our CMO, is going to be talking about marketing automation. Are you using automation as a way to stay in front of prospects? Again, staffing isn't a one-click and buy service. Individuals are going to think about it. So what are you doing to make sure that they're being repeatedly exposed to your brand and your messaging and your positioning and your value and how you can ultimately help them? What are you doing to make sure that you're segmenting your database, your client database, and sending them the right messaging at the right time? A great example, we're helping a client right now walk through their messaging with email. We have their client database, and that's then broken up into buckets. Individuals that they worked with in the past that no longer work with them, individuals that are currently working with them, individuals, prospects that are in their database that they've never worked with, right? So we have 3 buckets. All 3 of those should and will receive very deliberate messaging. because they're all at very different stages of knowing this individual and this client, and they're all at very different stages of re-engaging with this client. Are you doing that? We want to talk about ATS automation. Are you doing this with your candidates? I hope so. There's some great partners in the industry. I know Sense and Bullhorn, Herefish, things like that. But are you doing that to stay in front of your candidates? And then the last sales tool that I want to talk about, I want to go old school a little bit. And I want to back this up. We just talked about it on Insights, the podcast, using sell sheets. Are you using sell sheets that talk to the pain points that you're hearing day after day? Or do you have one sell sheet that just sells what you do? Because if that's the case, friends, that's not going to get it done anymore. But instead, what if we deployed a series of 7 to 10 sell sheets for your sales reps so that as they hear some sort of friction, oh, we can't work with staffing firms, or we don't have the budget for this, or we're already working with another one, or, we worked with a staffing firm in the past, we got burned by them, so we stay away from that. As your team hears this resistance, they know what sell sheet or what landing page to drive individuals to. So it's very, very deliberate. And instead of selling what we do, we now sell why we do it, right? So we're selling and we're driving people to the value we add and why we do the things that we do. If you want to download our smart automation checklist, just put a link on your screen that cleverly my chat window is directly over, but I know you can see it. You can download that smart automation checklist. I know it's at HaleyMarketing.com, and our team would love to get you that smart automation checklist so that you can start going through your own automation, what's working, and how you can improve that. Let's talk about leveling up your lead generation and how we can use digital marketing to sell. The first, search engine optimization. SEO. Answer questions with long-form content that has a clear conversion path. There's an excellent book by Marcus Sheridan called They Ask, You Answer. And friends, that's the basis of content marketing. Individuals throughout the internet every single day have questions. We all wander this world with questions. You need to have the best answer to that question. And quite frankly, if you don't, somebody else does. So your prospects in Buffalo, New York are searching questions that they have about hiring, about the labor market. They're finding that answer. We want to make sure they're finding your answer. So we want to make sure we're answering questions and we're creating that long form content. SEO should also be something that you continuously look at. I often think of SEO as that monthly checkup, just like your car, right? Your car needs an oil change. Your car needs maintenance. Your car needs an inspection. SEO to me is the exact same. When your website leaves the lot and it drives off, well, there's always things that you can do to improve it. And you can have the best SEO at go live, the absolute best. But 30 days, 90 days, we should be looking at that SEO, looking at what's working, looking at what's not, and making those tweaks so that we're driving the right people at the right time who have the intent to make purchasing decisions from us. PPC, targeted ads, search ads, and matched audience ads. We talked about Amazon, so let's talk about Amazon just a little bit more because, gosh, it's an easy example to use. PPC, remarketing. If we were live and I could see all of you right now, I'd say by a show of hands, how many people have looked at a product on Amazon in the last 30 days? Probably 99% of you would put your hand up. We'd all laugh at the other 1%. No, we wouldn't. But the 99% of you, I would say, okay, how many of you then saw that product follow you around the internet before you bought it? And of that, 98% of you would still have your hands up. Friends, that's remarketing. And to me, that is table stakes for having a website in 2023. When we are investing thousands of dollars in marketing, in sales tools, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, things like that, right? We're investing in identifying prospects, getting them to our website. We're investing in lead generation, getting people to our website. We're investing in marketing. Staffing is not a one click and buy decision. And if there's anybody on the line who disagrees with me, I'd love to have that conversation one day. But it does take time. We're going to window shop. It's a big decision to find somebody to trust with your career or to find somebody to trust with your hiring. So you're going to do your due diligence. Remarketing ads, pay-per-click advertising is a fantastic way to make sure that when somebody leaves your website, your brand follows them around the internet so that when they're ready to make a decision, they know, wait, I got to go back to Brad's staffing firm. We are staying in their world and we're staying in their ecosystem. That to me, and I truly mean this, is table stakes of having a website in 2023. If we are not deploying remarketing off of our website, we are losing out on prospects and we are losing out on talent. Content marketing, we talked about that in SEO. Social media, get found, network, get your team involved. Social media still remains a fantastic way to get in front of buyers, to get in front of decision makers, to get in front of your target audience. We are all obsessed with our smartphones. That's no lie. And that's no hot take. So if we're all actively using social, how can we use social media for our staffing and recruiting firm to generate leads? Well, we need to talk about what is going to be enticing to the other person on the other end of that device. So what typically happens when we post on social media is we use social media like a megaphone. I'm going to put out this post. I'm going to send a post out. I'm going to send it out so that everyone knows we're hiring. Well, at the end of the day, social media isn't really a megaphone. It's a one-to-one conversation that you have repeatedly, right? So I, Brad Bialy, the prospect, we have that conversation. I see your post. You posted it. You still post it. Somebody else sees it. You have that one-to-one, right? So it's a one-to-one conversation that happens at scale, but it's not truly a megaphone. And I think if we flip that mindset, if we flip that mentality, we flip that logic, well, then we start thinking about, okay, well, what would Brad Bialy, the prospect, care about? What are his needs? What are his biggest hiring challenges? What's keeping him up at night? What is he talking about at the dinner table? And if we can answer those questions, if we can elicit emotion because of the things that we're posting, well, then we drive clicks, then we drive engagement, then we drive relationships. So we can use social media, and if used effectively, and we talk directly, again, one-to-one to the person on the other end of that device, then we're working. Level up your reputation. ,84% of people trust online reviews as much as they trust a review from a personal recommendation. I'm going to say that again. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation or a personal review. We are crowdsourcing every single day. What story do your reviews tell? Friends, I don't care if you are the best staffing firm in North America. If by the data, you are hands down the best staffing firm in North America. If your reviews are saying otherwise, you're losing business and you're missing out on talent. Individuals are crowdsourcing those reviews. They're crowdsourcing recommendations. They want to know what others think about us. They want to know what others think about our business. We want to know what other people think about products before you have that purchasing decision. If we're crowdsourcing reviews to buy a microphone or to buy a clicker, we're certainly going to look for reviews for staffing services or for employment services, right? So I'm here today to say, what story do your reviews tell? Is it a true representation of who you are or not? We have trust signals, testimonials, reviews, awards. We need to make sure that we are actively deploying all of those. Again, 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. What story do yours tell? There's another data point that I typically put in here, but I removed from today. I believe it's 92% of people, and Magezi Mukandala, who oversees a lot of our reputation management here, he could probably correct me in the chat if the number's wrong, but I believe it's 92% of people will leave an online review if prompted to do so. The challenge, friends, we never ask. So we're letting people dictate our online reputation instead of asking the people who have positive experiences with us to just talk about that experience. And let's actually take this away from staffing for a second and take this to your local restaurant. When was the last time you left an online review because the steak you had was phenomenal? Now let's think about the nature of online reviews. How many people leave an online review because that steak came out a little well done, or because the drink was a little watered down, or because the beer you ordered or the drink you ordered was a little too warm, or the server wasn't kind to you, right? We leave online reviews because of negative experiences, probably a heck of a lot more than we leave positive ones. Now, to bring that back to staffing and recruiting, you're hiring. We'll take this to the candidate side of things for a second. You're hiring. You have one available job that one person will get, but 1,000 people, heck, 100 people apply. One person gets the job. We now have 99 other people who are frustrated, upset, who think they deserved it, who are now going to get out their review fingers and leave that negative review. We need to actively control our online reputation. We need to ask for those testimonials. We need to ask for reviews. We need to build case stories, right? Thinking about case studies where we might take that B2B. What about building case stories? If you truly helped a hiring manager, you truly helped an organization with their hiring needs, let's build a story about that. Let's turn that into great content. Let's turn that into an ebook. Let's turn that into reviews and testimonials in a social push. Let's build marketing automation around that story. Let's take just helping that one individual in that one organization and build an entire 3 to 6 month campaign just around that one thing. Other trust signals are awards. People want to know that you can walk the talk, right? And if we have online reviews, well, that's all third party, right? That's great. But they also want to know that you have the awards to back it up. So if you think at any point you're bragging or boasting by showing the awards on your website, it's quite the opposite, right? Again, you might literally have the best staffing and recruiting firm in North America. But if your reviews and your story online tell otherwise, you're losing business and you're missing out on top talent. So how about leveling up our nurturing? Staffing is rarely a one-call close. So what can we do to keep our company more top of mind? We'll load all these up for you here. I'm probably going to go too far and then I'm going to come back. What can we do to keep our company just a little more top of mind? The first is email. Friends, if you don't have a consistent email marketing campaign where you're consistently reaching out to prospects and nurturing that relationship, you're being forgotten about. And I hate to say it as blunt as that, and I don't want to be all doom and gloom in this conversation, but you're being forgotten about because your prospects and your clients have lives at work and outside of work. They're not constantly thinking about Brad's staffing firm. We need to make sure that we are surrounding them and we're living in their world and making sure our messaging makes it into their world, right? Email marketing, but not just email just for the sake of doing it. Deliberate email. Where are your clients? Where is your database? And what stage are they at in the decision-making process? Let's segment that and then send very deliberate messages and messaging to those groups of people so that we can get them to come back. Let's kind of break that down outside of staffing for a second. I want to talk about database management because it's something that I think we talked well about on Insights, the podcast, but I want to talk about it just a little bit more here. Let's think about buying a Puma shirt. Okay, as an example, I'm wearing it. It makes sense. People that have bought Puma or bought a polo like this, we have people who have never worn a golf shirt at all. And then we have people that have worn Nike golf shirts. Okay, we have three very, very specific audiences. We have someone who owns the shirt already. We have somebody who owns Nike, but similar. And we have somebody who's never owned one in the past. The messaging to get somebody to buy a purple version of this shirt is different for each of those individuals, right? For the person that already has it, it's buy the shirt that you love in a different color, right? You already love it. You're already wearing it. We know you like it. Buy it again. Somebody who's never owned a golf shirt, let's think about how we can wear it outside of golf. Maybe you don't golf. Maybe you give presentations. Maybe you're in meetings. Maybe you need something that's more dry fit in the summer, right? Let's talk about their pain points. Let's talk about their need. Don't buy what it is, right? We're not just selling a shirt. Buy why it matters, okay? And then on the other side of that, someone who's bought a different product, Nike, let's talk about why it matters to trust a different brand, why it matters to try this specific shirt. We can be doing that in staffing and recruiting. We can be doing that in what we do every single day. So friends, I would challenge you to start thinking through that. And if you need a little help, we'd love to work through that as well. Let's talk about SMS and texting. Are you texting prospects? Are you texting clients? Are you texting even your candidates? I had a great example here, actually. And typically, and Matt Lowe's, our director of recruitment marketing, knows I always say no free plugs. But there's a fantastic workout supplement that I've been using. It's by the Legion brand, right? So Legion is the brand. They're running a promotion right now. It's like buy one, get one 40% off. What I love about the promotion, not only that I can get the stuff I use at a discount, but more importantly, I've gotten an email about it. In minutes after I got the email, I got a text about it. I'm also seeing ads about it on Facebook, but I'm getting text about it. I'm getting social about it. I'm getting email about it. I am in their, they are in my ecosystem so well that I have to buy more. I can't think about any other product because I'm seeing them everywhere I look. I love the integration with texting though, because I'm on my phone. Probably don't want to admit this too much. I'm on my phone all day. Absolutely all day. Even if I'm working and let's say my son's sleeping, well, the baby monitor's on my phone. If I'm out, I still have my phone. We check text messages. 99% of people will check a text message within the first minute of receiving it. 99% of texts are open within the first minute of receiving it. Are you using that knowledge to your advantage to reach out to prospects and to stay top of mind with them? We talked about automation a little while ago. I talked to you about the smart automation checklist. I would encourage you to check that out. And we talked about PPC. What are you doing to make sure that you're staying in front of people at the right time so that they know to come to you when it's their time to purchase staffing services? Just gave you that great example from Legion, right? They have a product, they want me to buy it. So I get the email, I get a text about it. That's all through automation. And then there's also that encompassing PPC, right? Friends, we can steal that playbook. We can steal that playbook all day, and we should be stealing that playbook all day. Level up your marketing mix. We said at the beginning of the talk that we can't deploy the same strategies and the same tactics that we did in 2022 and expect better results in 2023. It is time to level up and put it all together. It's time for us to say no more, oh, well, we're doing this or we're doing this. What collectively are we doing to drive business leads? What are we doing collectively to prospect, right? And when we think about all of that, when we put it all together, does that fall into a full marketing mix and a full marketing campaign that we're proud of? And are we revisiting it monthly? Are we revisiting it quarterly? Friends, are you deploying the same marketing strategy that somebody put together for you or an intern put together for you 3 years ago, 5 years ago? It's a completely different world. So we need to make sure that we are not only leveling up individual components that we just talked about, but we're also elevating the entire marketing mix. Why does all this matter? In the Great Recession, companies that continued aggressive advertising obtained 4.5% more market share versus their competitors who cut back on marketing during the recession. More recently, I want you to think about the COVID pandemic. How many restaurants or local organizations did you think went out of business because they weren't present anymore? They weren't active on social. They weren't active on your email. They weren't active in texts. You didn't know about them. They weren't updating their Facebook page. So you thought, heck, it's unfortunate, but they probably went out of business. If we continue advertising when times are tough, it sends the signal that everything is okay. Again, if we continue advertising when things are tough and we continue marketing when times are tough, it sends the signal that everything is okay. So when prospects are coming to you and they're looking for support, they don't have to question whether or not you're being impacted by what's going on. They don't have to question whether or not you're doing okay, because the image that we're portraying is that everything's great. So we need to make sure that we're doing that. The best time to take action is, frankly, before you need to take action. So if we want to level up, friends, I don't want to start thinking about why we need to level up 6 months from now. I don't want to think about how we need to level up if by chance business gets real rough. Let's think about ways to systematically start leveling up starting today. I offered you that disclaimer at the beginning of today's presentation, at the beginning of the talk, where I said, listen, I'm going to share 7 strategies with you. There's 12 if you download the ebook. at haleymarketing.com. I want you to start with one idea. And if you can leave today and start with one idea, well, then I will have effectively done my job, and this 41 minutes would have been worth your time. But we need to take action. You can have the best plan in place, but if you don't do anything with it, well, it's just a plan, it's just a hope, right? It's just a hope or a wish. We need to get started. Friends, if you want the ebook that follows along with this talk and gives you 12 strategies instead of 7, you can go to haleymarketing.com/level up to get that ebook. I would encourage you all to check it out. I would encourage you to print it, distribute it. If you want a hard copy of it, heck, we might even be able to send you one. I don't want to speak for our marketing team there, but I know we got some. If you want a hard copy of it, or you can print them, share it with your friends, share it with colleagues, share it with your leadership. But again, if you want the 12 strategies for marketing during a downturn and how to level up, you can go to haleymarketing.com/level up. You have 60 seconds after this webinar. I'm going to encourage you to not close out during this part. I'd love your feedback on this. Not only am I slated to give this talk quite a bit throughout the year, whether it's at the NISA conference coming up or CSP in San Diego, CSA, if you're on the line here, I'll be seeing you soon as well. I'd love to know what you thought. I'd love to know if this was valuable to you, and I'd love to know what your one takeaway was, right? So again, I asked you really just to think about breaking down the 7 strategies and think through that one thing that you can deploy. So at the end of this webinar, you're going to get hit with a real quick, I think it's 2 or 3 questions, and then a note section. I would love for you just to hang on for 60 seconds and tell me that one takeaway that you have. What are you going to commit to as you leave this webinar to level up in 2023? All right, let's give you a little bit free more stuff before we open it up to questions, more free advice to help you level up. I would encourage you to check out Insights, a part of the Secrets of Staffing Success family. It's the leading podcast for staffing and recruiting owners and individuals throughout the industry. You can listen to Insights by checking out Secrets of Staffing Success wherever podcasts are heard. Staffing Brain Fuel, our giant collection of ebooks, webinars, featured articles, and coaching. You get all of that at haleymarketing.com. Again, that direct link is directly behind my chat window. I know it's on your screen. I wish I could articulate it to you. If you are listening to the webinar, now is where you'll go back and watch the webinar to get that direct link. But Staffing Brain Fuel, it is our collection of resources built specifically for the staffing and recruiting industry. You can get it specifically at haleymarketing.com, and the direct URL is on your screen right now for you. We also have some great digital marketing bundles that we're offering you for checking out today's webinar. You can get that again at haleymarketing.com. There's a URL directly on your screen now where we're offering a lot of great services to help and coincide with today's talk to help you level up your marketing in 2023, all at a great affordable rate where our team can help you take your marketing to the next level. I think this is the last one, a conversion rate optimization site review. Friends, if you don't have any takeaways from the last 45 minutes, I hope this is it. Our team is offering a 30-point review of your website, what's working, and more importantly, what's not. Go to haleymarketing.com/website review to reach out to our team, where our team will audit your website and let you know what's working when it comes to conversion rate optimization. It's great if we're getting people to our website. It's better if we're getting them to convert, because at the end of the day, we're not Fox News. We're not CNN. I don't care what side of that spectrum you're on, but we don't make money based on people coming to our website through ad dollars, right? We're not selling ads on our website. We make money by putting great people to work and great opportunities. And if the site isn't funneling people to apply or to request services, then what's it doing for us, right? Check out haleymarketing.com/website review, and you can talk to our team about getting that 30-point review of your website. This time we'll open up to questions. I think I'm a little under here, 2:45, right on time, actually. So if you have a question, I'd love to stay on. I'm happy to stay on and answer that for you. Cindy, I appreciate your kind words there. That's incredibly nice of you. George, I appreciate you reaching out and sharing those kind words as well. If anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to stay on and talk about how to level up your specific marketing. Or if you have anything that you've heard from today's presentation, happy to answer that for you as well. But I'll stay on here for a couple more minutes and see if anything comes through. If not, have a fantastic afternoon. Be good to each other. Douglas asked, will we get a recording? Yes, you will. So by signing up for today's webinar, our team, once this video is processed through Zoom, you will, and then we upload it to YouTube and do everything that we need to do post-production. You'll get an email on how to watch this back. Secondarily to that, if you go to lunchwithhaley.com, Douglas, and on the very top left of your screen, you click on webinars on demand. So you go to lunchwithhaley.com, you'll click on webinars on demand. You can watch every single Lunch with Haley that we've recorded for probably the better part of 10 to 12 years. So a ton of content, all on lunchwithhaley.com. There's a question over on my other screen. So give me 1 second to walk over there. So Mark has a very interesting question. He said, I need one client fast. What would you recommend? So Mark, because you're putting me on the spot, and I like that, let's work through it. You need one client fast. The first thing that I would do, if I needed one client fast, is I would look at past clients. Who have I worked with in the past where I could have good, strong conversations with them about repeat business? So let's start with some of that trust that we've already built and go back to individuals who already know who we are and see what we can do about nurturing that relationship. So we have, again, I need one client fast. And sorry, I'm kind of hopping around here. I have one monitor and another one behind it with the questions. I need one client fast. Which of the strategies would deliver the fastest? Mark, frankly, I think it's old school nurture relationship marketing, right? It's thinking through your past clients, going back to them and working with them on their current challenges. And going back to past clients then comes into a lot of the tactics we talked about, right? So it's talking about old school, pick up the phone and call them, take them out to lunch, take them out to dinner, talk to them about their current needs, their current challenges. Once that happens, let's follow up on LinkedIn. Hey, Mark, really enjoyed the conversation the other day. I know we talked about ABC. Here's a couple things that we might be able to help with. Let's follow that up with an email. Let's follow that up with PPC. Maybe we're doing that at scale and we can surround people, right, with our messaging, right? But we're going back to past clients. That to me, and again, you put me on the spot, so I got to give you an answer, right? I think if we think about how to close business the fastest, let's go to people that already know who we are and what we do. And that might be people who are currently working with us that can do more business with us, or it might be people who worked with us in the past who could come back to us. Lane had a question, and again, I got to walk around a monitor, so give me 1 second. Lane said, do you guys recommend automation tools that are bundled in the ATS? Lane, I'm going to ask that you check out next month's Lunch with Haley on how to wake up sleeping clients using sales automation best practices. And Lane, if you need an immediate answer on that, I'm going to ask that you reach out to Jeff Stats on LinkedIn. He's our CMO and really our automation expert. I don't know enough about the automation tools that are offered through ATS platforms to give you a really concrete answer there. Do I trust them? I know a couple of the clients that I'm working with are using them and they're seeing good success from it. Are there other tools that can go on top of that that are better? Well, the answer is maybe, and Jeff will be able to give you a really clean answer there. So Lane, what you can do, you can either reach out to Jeff on LinkedIn, or when you close out of this and you get that notes window, just say, had a question for Brad and he asked me to reach out to Jeff, and Jeff will get a hold of you. Our marketing team will make sure that he reaches out about that. Do you support LinkedIn advertising tools, paid media to feed the sales funnel? Absolutely, if you can afford it. And I say that sort of jokingly, but LinkedIn is incredibly specific. You can target exactly who you want to with the exact messaging that you want to, right? Because of that, it is a high cost per click. But if you're in a level of staffing where you're looking for very, very specific individuals at a higher level of a talented employee, right? I don't know that I would use LinkedIn in a light industrial or a warehouse setting, but if you're looking for a director level, you're looking for a C-suite level, absolutely would I use LinkedIn to feed that funnel. Now, I know there's also built-in LinkedIn tools, right? Navigator, Recruiter, I believe is another one, but you can deploy PPC on top of that. And I do believe you should. The only challenge there, anonymous attendee, is does it fit your goals based on their budget, right? Because it is a high cost per click when you think about LinkedIn. You mentioned an Insights podcast about differentiating your contact list. Where can I listen? Chrissy, do me a favor. If you want to, actually, I'll see the chat here, but if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I can send you the episode breakdown. All past Insights episodes are found at haleymarketing.com, or you can look up Secrets of Staffing Success in your preferred podcast player. I don't know the exact episode number because we're past about 115 episodes now, but if you were to look up Secrets of Staffing Success on your preferred podcast player, that'll show you all of our past episodes, and you kind of comb through the title to find the right one that you're looking for. Or if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to comb through it myself, or we might have somebody on our team who knows that information. And another question here from Aaron. Oh, hang on 1 second. We just got another one. So missed it. 1 second, everyone. Let me step to the side here again because my monitor is not cooperating. It's hard to show execs direct influence of Google Ads when you are unable to tie revenue funnels to specific client contacts. I agree. And I think the best thing that you can do is set up goals in Google Analytics. You can set up what's considered UTM tracking in Google Analytics. You can set up and append very specific parameters to your ads so that you can tie that as closely as you can as possible. Now, the challenge there, we already said staffing isn't a one-click and buy service. So Brad Bialy might click your ad. I might think about it. I might leave. I might shop around and look for other staffing services and come back, right? Are we able to track that individual? Well, our PPC team's really good at identifying that. It becomes a little bit harder. We can get into assisted conversions and things like that. But yeah, that's a really good question. And it is tough to find that if you don't have a one-to-one connection, right? If you don't have Brad clicked link, Brad bought shirt, right? If it's that one-to-one. But what we could also do is ask, right? I know our sales team and our marketing educators are great at this. When a new lead comes in, when somebody calls Haley Marketing, one of the first questions that I've heard our team ask is, how'd you hear about Haley Marketing? What brought you here? I know when we run our ads on Insights, the podcast, I always say, hey, you sure you tell them Insights sent you, right? I want people that reach out to say, hey, when Ryan or Paul or Kathy or anybody on our sales team says, well, how'd you hear about Haley Marketing? Oh, I listened to Insights. Great. Now we know exactly how they came in, right? So Aaron, I believe it was, and again, I'm sorry, the screen shifted. Maybe it's just a matter of setting up that sheet and having your team be a little bit more diligent with tracking that. Let's see if there's any other questions on this side. I don't think so. Any other questions from anybody else? Happy to stay on for about another minute or two here if anybody has anything. If not, I know I asked you for that feedback when you close out of your window. I appreciate you hanging out as long as you have. Again, next month's Lunch with Haley, Jeff Statz, our CMO, will be joined by another guest whose name is escaping me right now. I apologize. But if you go to lunchwithhaley.com, you can sign up right away for How to Wake Up Sleeping Clients, Sales Automation Best Practices. Again, for all of us at Haley Marketing, I appreciate you joining this episode of Lunch with Haley. Take care. Be good to each other.